let's just sew whatever.
Hello everybody, today we are making me hit myself in the face with a bag. The medium Louie waist pack, completely clear, but with glitter inside. So cute. So you can still see through the bag. It is completely clear. There is a zipper pocket back here that is completely sectioned off, but the bag is still completely clear. It's so good. Okay, let's make it. Come on. Don't forget to subscribe. Please. My grandma said you have to. So, don't make her mad. Alright, y'all, let's work on this completely clear Louie waist bag from Uh-Oh Creations Patterns. This is Tara Sinclair, who is an incredible bag maker from Canada, and she actually made the backpacks that were in a really popular show that I can't remember right now, and I'm sorry for that, but she is incredible. It was a major show. Pedro Pascal's in it, so like, there you go. I didn't watch it. I didn't have time. I'm so sorry. Alright, we're gonna get started on the wings. We're starting there first. Did it last time and I'll do it again. So I've got right sides face up. And I'm flipping it so that right sides are together. Clip. I'm gonna put this piece of webbing in there, up at the top, leaving a bit of wiggle room. And then I'm going to sew around. I'm going to just use like 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. I don't want to trim this. This is my second time making this bag, but the first time you're seeing it. You'll see the other one after this. Another video. So we're going to flip this through. I'm going to use my screwdriver to gently help me poke out the corner. Very careful, okay? Be careful. And we're going to top stitch this. Alright, and then we're going to grab a triangle ring. This is going to get sewn in place this way. So I've just completely folded that in half. And I'm going to do a box stitch around. And this keeps it so that your slide connection isn't like right up against your body, which I think is just such a smart trick. So I've got a box stitch there. In the pattern, she gives you measurements to follow, and I'm just winging it. And then here, I'm gonna sew that down in a U shape and then trim off that excess. And then you can also add rivets if you'd like to secure that even more. And I'm going to trim off excess threads, etc. as well. So that's what the back looks like, and that's what the front looks like. And then we'll move on to the other side. This is going to get our webbing placed in there. This way. Yeah. And you do want quite a bit inside of your seam of that webbing, just as a little bit of wiggle room to prevent any fraying over time. And then you're sewing through it at such wide intervals that you're going to help reinforce without risking hurting it, basically. The joy of working with jelly vinyl. All right. And then this is going to get a slide adjuster and a snap hook. But right now I only have wide mouth slide adjusters at my house, so I'm gonna get a regular sized one so with the webbing it doesn't start to come undone. I could also potentially use a locking slider, but I feel like if I was gonna do that I would have wanted that on this side. So it is what it is. We're gonna start on our back panel. And for that, we're going to use a total of 3 pieces. I have back top, back bottom, and then bottom lining or interior lining. And then I need to grab some zipper tape and zipper pulls. Got my zipper tape. Zipper pulls are attached. We're going to start with the bottom, front, nope, back bottom, the fabric that I'm using is from Fabric Therapy. It's a TPU Taylor Swift vinyl. I am putting my zipper tape face down, lining up that top edge, and then I'm going to use a 3/8 inch seam allowance. And then we're going to open that up and top stitch. Now we're going to add the back lining piece and line that up with the top edge of our zipper. And then this is the top panel, top of our back, so we'll line that up the top edge as well. Because that clear vinyl sticks to itself, I really don't need to use anything to hold those layers together. I just need to get them over my feed dogs. There we go. flip that up. And I'm just top stitching through that top. So this makes it a separate back zippered pocket. And then we're going to close the rest up in a minute. When you're unzipping it, make sure you're unzipping within that lining. I'm going to find my centers. We're going to grab the pattern piece. And trace around. The zipper should be centered along that dashed line. I think I'm going to stand up so I can see that better. If you have your zipper pull like all the way off to the edge, you can trace around this really easily. And the main reason she has you do this is because your seam allowances may change from machine to machine, so you've got some wiggle room. And then I'm just going to stitch within that cut line all the way around and then trim off my excess. I may not need the stitching up here in the top, but it actually helps so that you know you're sewing through the right layers later on because of the clear vinyl. And then we're just going to trim the excess at that ballpoint pen line. Through your zipper tape and everything. And I would say if you have a domestic and you want to add zipper tabs to this back panel, you could cut your zipper tape to, hold please. You could cut your zipper tape to 8 inches and then cut out like 2-inch zipper tabs and add those first and then do this whole rigmarole, and that would help bulk along that panel. Because when you add those wings to the side too, it can be quite a bit of bulk. So while I'm here, I'm going to remark my centers in case I lost them. And I'm going to grab the wings for the back. And then these are going to get placed face up. Because when you reverse engineer, this is going to be facing out and against your body. So this gets lined up with your zipper. Oh yeah, I meant to add this first, but oh well. Could even stick this in the pocket back here for now. And then we can move on to the zipper and the gusset and finishing all of that off. So these flange pieces are kind of fun, kind of not. We're going to line up the straightest edge with the right side of our zipper tape, lining up the bottom edge of the zipper. So bottom edge, straightest side. When we get to the marking on the pattern piece, we're going to leave our needle in and pivot our zipper tape. And since I don't have a lining for this, I'm just going to sew 3/8 of an inch, right sides together. Continue on, continue on, continue on. Boop. Make sure your zipper tape kind of mimics the shape. And use your awl or screwdriver if you have to finish sewing that. It really helps if your zipper pulls aren't literally right there. Okay. And then this gets tricky. So I think I'm gonna start at that stopping point, stitch a few, boop, 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 and then pivot and reverse it. Oh my god, what am I doing? Sew this way. Dude, I cannot sew backwards. There we go. Okay, and then we'll come back. All right, and then we're gonna top stitch, open that up. And then I've got those all top stitched. And we'll mark out the center. Do not snip this. Just gonna use my zipper tape. You don't need to mark the center along the free edge of the zipper tape because we're gonna be adding our gusset piece to it. So double-sided tape. I don't think I'm gonna add a name tag to this. The vinyl isn't too busy, but I think adding a nameplate on top of that to the front and the glitter is gonna be too busy, so I'm just gonna do a little woven label. I'm mostly saying it so I don't forget. So pressing the zipper tape into place, 3/8 inch seam allowance. Move your zipper pulls out of the way. Nope. Press that zipper panel face down. Now we're going to line them up with the base of the bag. And this is like a 3/8 inch seam allowance. I think this is where I'm going to add a name tag. I think that'll be cute. And then we're going to press that open and top stitch. Also going to prevent any future fraying. My panel is off by a little bit. I'm just going to trim that little bit to match. And then we're going to find our centers. And snip. Okay. Now comes the fun part. This is our lining vinyl. So we're going to set that aside. And then this is our front piece. So we're going to start with this. I'm going to line up the base center with the longest edge. I'm going to use a pretty small seam allowance here. So that's 1/8 of an inch to base that down. Trim. And then center up top. Oh, crud. I've done that wrong. Yeah, I did that wrong. Because you want the open edge of your zipper along this panel. Just got a little bit confused. Make sure you get all those threads out or they'll show up later. Okay. So, top of the zipper. Baste that. There we go. So we should have the gusset, the zipper gusset facing up and away from this panel. And the raw edge of the zipper facing down. Now that I've got that in place, I'm gonna snip the curve ever so gently. I'm gonna clip along the top this time, and then the bottom. And there are gusset placement markings too to follow. Everything is clipped together, so I'm gonna sew around just like 1/8 of an inch. Quarter of an inch, just about, actually. Unzipping it can make it much easier. Now we're gonna add the other layer of clear vinyl. If you wanted to, you could just use binding around this piece and call it a day, but I am going to kind of follow how the pattern instructions say to do it as far as lining up. It's like a finished edge and we turn it through the bottom of this piece here. I wish that this vinyl here were a little bit thinner. I think it's 0.7. I wish it were 0.5 like the other. Man, I should have just run to work. This is going to be right sides together if your vinyl has a right or a wrong side. We're not going to sew along the bottom opening. That's where we're going to turn the bag through. So we're going to start down here and backstitch. That's where we're going to turn the bag. I'm just going slow. I'm coming in like 1/8 of an inch from the other stitch line. What's fun about using the clear is I can see my zipper tape. And I can know I'm about to mess this up if I don't push it back into place. And then I'm trying not to put too much pressure on my project or it's not going to slide. It'll just stick in place because of the vinyl. So I've got my thumb underneath to help pull up as I'm still pushing down. And this is truly the hardest part of the bag. And then make sure you don't follow your zipper tape, follow your zipper flange. And then I've got a little bit of a bunch here. I just want to make sure I don't catch that in my stitch. And now we're at a good point to backstitch, pull, trim, and then any uneven edges of vinyl, go ahead and trim that down, but don't cut through your zipper tape or it'll fray. Like right there, trim that down. Your bottom corners, trim those down. If you don't trim them down, add some relief snips. Because the one I just made, there's a lot of bulk. So, you know, like, snip. Even if you, like, cut away some, that would be good. But only in that bottom corner. Do not cut through your zipper tape. Okay, now comes the fun part of adding the glitter. Glitter. This would be nearly impossible with PVC, so make sure that you've got the right stuff for this project. Pull gently. And then I messed up. I pulled this thing closest to where I was turning instead of furthest away, so don't make that mistake. Make your life a lot harder. And then I'm pushing that seam, making sure all that is out. Yes. Yes. So, we're going to be top stitching all the way around this panel, and then we're going to close up this hole down there. And I'm going to add a little piece of double-sided tape along that opening. You can do 2 pieces or just 1. It might be nice to do 1 to fold it and then 1 to seal it. So I've got 1 little piece here, to help me fold that down to stay in place, and then I'll put another bigger piece over top. So that way when I fold that, I've got a nice place. Okay, now we're gonna add glitter. This is smaller glitter than I'm used to. It's a mixture, but it's gonna look so good. Ooh. Okay, that's a good amount. Ah. Okay, over the trash. Okay. All right, I'm gonna close it up now. I'm not gonna test how it looks. I think it's enough. If I disperse it too much, oh, is it too much? It might be too much. I may have removed the clear from the vinyl. All right, I'm gonna close it up. So we're folding that down. I'm gonna turn this over. Make sure you hold that shut. No, it's perfect. Oh God, it's beautiful. Okay. And I'm just pulling apart those layers, and I'm sewing across the seam. Don't follow your zipper flange this time. Just follow across the seam you've just sewn together along that front panel. So I should have my turn hole closed. Yep. So it is now safe to redisperse the glitter out of the seam, so it's not stuck there. Come on. Well, if it is, it is. You should be folding that seam down to top stitch. This is my first time using like a glitter with multiple sizes included. And I've seen a couple people use them now, and I'm like, oh, that looks just so good. How some like stick to the vinyl and some float around. Okay, I got really distracted top stitching that, but it's fine. 100% I was looking at the vinyl. I was looking at vinyl. Oh. I was looking at vinyl. Alright, I'm gonna shake this for the first time over the trash can, just in case. I don't see a ton falling out or anything like that. I think I added a touch too much glitter, but I love it. Yeah, I think I added one splash too much. I don't care. Kat's not gonna care. She's gonna freaking love it. Clear enough. Alright. Stop oogling it. Finish the bag. So we're going to turn this way. I think I'm going to finish this off with black binding. Ooh, black stars. Black stars it is. That'll look cute. Ugh. Those like super fine glitters are trying to escape through the stitches. There's no way to really prevent that with those micro glitters. Okay, doke. So I've got my focal points clipped. I keep thinking this is glitter, but I pinched my finger. I would rather it be glitter. For like half a second, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna sew all the way around. I don't trust myself. Please don't do that. I would say keep a lint roller nearby if you're working with like the super fine glitters, and that'll help pick up the little bits so they don't ruin your machine. Or harm your machine, I should say. They may not ruin it. That's excessive. Looks like a fairly spacious bag too. This is the size large. No, it's the medium. So I guess there's just medium and small. Okay. Go ahead and start at the top here. When I work with the clear, especially with all the filming lights I have on, my eyes get really tired, like from trying to differentiate which layers are which. I also didn't snip any of my curves, so that's not gonna bode well for this. This binding only frays on the short ends, so to prevent it, you can just touch it with a heat source. And then I'm going to use 3/4 inch binding tape. It's just 3/4 inch double-sided tape, but this method works for me, but it may not work for you, so feel free to try it out. I only peel a little bit at a time. And then I'm just pinching this over the seam, clipping just every once in a while. I find that the tape helps me keep it from shifting while I'm sewing it, but I don't know, oh, my light died, that it really keeps everything together. Long term. I bought these cool like battery powered LED lights to help me with filming, just so it would be a little bit brighter. So I'd love your feedback on my most recent videos, if you found that the lighting was better, if you didn't notice, if you don't care, or if you like penguins. Okay, here we go. And then this opens nice and wide, so it's super easy to turn. Just gonna turn it over a trash can just in case. All right, we're good. Not too shabby. So then the last step will be for me to finish off that strap. But I'm just going to add a slide adjuster, my snap hook, and then clip it to its friend over here. And that's good to go. I hope you enjoyed making this glitter shaker Louie waist bag with me. So cute. You can see when you shake all that glitter down, you can still see through it. Well enough. I hope you'll try this method or not if you're terrified of glitter. They do have like just jumbo particles of glitter from Michael's that are much friendlier. But I will see you all in my next video. Bye.